And now, the Spacey Award-winning podcast, Charboil and El Bandito's Power Hour of Love.
WWE Hall of Famer Hacksaw Jim Duggan, and I just want to give a shout out to the Power Hour of Love. Give me a hold, big guy. Ho!
The Power Hour of Love is Joel Wynkoop. Approved, baby! That's right, approved! Yeah! Woo! These guys are awesome. Good, cool guys. If they approach you, run like hell. No, stop and say, let's do something.
You know, you're like little underdogs, and you came up, and you were like, wow! So that was awesome. You had great fans, and that showed right there, you know?
Well, I am Byron from Phantasmagoria, and we are a Victorian horror troupe that has been touring now for 9 years.
And I'm here with the beautiful, awesome Athena Fingers.
Flattering.
Author, comic book creator, and looks like movie director as well, Bob Dixon. How's it going?
I'm hanging out with Steve and Lauren out here.
This is Charboil from the Power Hour of Love, and I'm here with Jake Estrada, man.
Hanging out with Steph, the travel superhero.
Power Hour of Love, baby! Yeah! Wah!
Hey everybody, welcome to the Spacey Award-winning Power Hour of Love. I'm Charboil, and this is
El Bandito.
Hey, El Bandito, how's it going tonight?
Oh, man, I'm doing awesome tonight. We are coming off such a high off the super awesome Space Coast Comic-Con. You guys just got to see some awesome clips from up there where we did, in fact, win our very own Spacey Award. Check that out, guys. Look at our camera. I got to set the autofocus off. Hang on a second. But anyways, tell them about the Space Coast Comic-Con, Senor Bull, while I fix our camera up here.
Oh, man, well, we had such a blast, you know. It ran from Friday to Sunday. The Power Hour was able to rock out on Friday and Saturday. We did have to come home a little early, so we didn't get to enjoy the festivities of Sunday. But from what I've heard, things were rocking and rolling all the way to the time that the doors closed. And we had just a great time up there with Jake Estrada and Dave and all the rest of the crew that put on Space Coast Comic-Con. And, man, we were like, we were treated like kings the whole weekend, man. It was just so nice to go up there and hang out with those guys and also hang out with some of the cool guests. As you saw in the video, we got to hang out with Joel Wynkoop. And we also got to hang out with Hacksaw Jim Duggan.
Yep.
We got to hang out with the guys from Phantasmagoria.
Yep.
You know,
Athena Finger was kind enough to take some time to talk to us, the granddaughter of Bill Finger, who was the co-creator of Batman. We did catch up with Travis Gibb, one of the guys that we interviewed during our Creators Corner during the month of August. Mr. Bob Dixon, you got a chance to talk to. That guy was a riot, man. He was a lot of fun. We talked to Steve Ekstrom and Lauren Edinger, the cosplay model, and Steve is from Imminent Press, who do online comics. And we talked to Steph Katz, the travel superhero, who's a travel agent who specializes in doing kind of group functions, man. So if the Legion of Love wants the Power Hour to talk to Steph and put together a package deal for us all to go together to the next Comic-Con, man, let us know. Throw down some love in the comments, and we'll see if we can make it happen. But we did talk to the Savior Impala out there to see his 67 Impala, just like the one used in the Supernatural TV series. So just so many awesome people who were so kind to take the time to talk to us, man, and we appreciate it. We had super tons of fun, and all those videos are available in a playlist on our Facebook page. If you guys want to see them in a little bit higher quality, we can upload them to YouTube, but it seems like they get around easier on Facebook. So you guys let us know. If you want some higher quality ones, we'll put the time and effort in and throw them over on YouTube. If you guys are happy just catching it live and checking it out when the action happens, then that's also good too. So.
Oh yeah, man! But like you said, we got to meet got to meet and hang out with a lot of great people over the weekend. But yes, I'd have to say definitely one of my favorite moments is when we were awarded the Spacey Award for Best Podcast and Social Media Provider for 2018, the Power Hour of Love, baby. So thank you guys, everyone who voted in the preliminary rounds, and thank you to the judges and everyone who came out to support for the Spacey Awards. Lots of other great awards were handed out. You want to tell them about a couple? I mean, I know our buddy Lance Footer took home an award. Yep.
John Crowther.
John Crowther, Rochelle the Teenage Cockroach.
Yep.
Joel Winecoop, he definitely took home a Spacey, and a lot of other great folks as well. So
yeah, everyone was so nice that was there. We all congratulated each other. We met a bunch of different people, but just everybody who's nominated are people who are working hard in their passion and getting recognized. So really, congratulations go out to everyone who was nominated for something, because it meant that you put a bunch of work into something that was fantastic. So there can only ever be one winner, but we're all kicking ass. We're all doing some great stuff, and we owe it mostly to the Legion of Love out there. We love you guys. We're going to give you some love right now.
Oh, yeah, man. The Legion was in full force. Thank you guys so much for tuning in with us over the weekend, commenting on the videos, liking. Also, if you're part of our Legion of Love special group, you guys got some behind-the-scenes footage as well, which everyone seemed to really enjoy.
Yeah, and can I address, I see Justin K is in the comments right now being like, so who was Big Spoon and who was Little Spoon? The people want to know. We posted on like 5 of those videos. There were two beds in that room. People kept posting that. Why is there only one bed? We did have 2 beds.
We definitely had the idea that we were going to, like the first video, we were going to be under the covers in the same bed. But man, we didn't even need to do that. You guys were already...
I'm fine with being Little Spoon.
Absolutely. Well, I was gonna say, man, it was a great hotel up there at the Holiday Inn. They had a nice pool and stuff, which I hear there was a awesome pool party on Saturday night. Next year, we will absolutely stay for the pool party.
Yes, no doubt, man. The pool party was awesome. They had a whole troop of girls who came out dressed like the DC Comics bombshells in like the 1940s pinups and swimsuits and stuff like that. So that was really cool. But Brian E., Jason T., Justin K., Mike B., we see you guys out there throwing some love. Thank you guys so much. It's because of you guys coming back and checking us out that we're able to do what we do, man. So we appreciate it.
Oh, yeah, man. But, now it's awesome. We got Space Coast Comic-Con in the books. We got some more conventions coming towards the end of the year, which we're going to tell you guys about, as they get closer. But, man, we got to get back into the grit of things, man. We got to get into what's going on right now. What are we talking about tonight, El Bandito?
Ooh, tonight we're talking about The Predator.
Not
to be confused with Predator, the original 1987 movie, but the new movie that's going to come out this Friday, right? Isn't it September 14th?
Yes, yeah. The latest movie in the Predator franchise is gracing the screens this Friday.
And I'm going to give myself like a pat on the back for wearing my Prey shirt for the Predator night. I thought that was pretty clever.
I know. I was going through my closet, and I know the Legion will know that we have quite an extensive attire, and I was like, well, it's like we're getting closer to fall, so I can kind of do my Jack Tolerance Red Rum, T-shirt here. But yeah, unfortunately, I didn't have anything Predator or Alien related. But what what you're going to say, man, is like, while we're going to definitely talk about the new upcoming Predator movie later on in the second segment, first we're going to go deep. Yes. And we're gonna dig through the Predator franchise, and you guys definitely throw down in the comments what you think is the best. But we're gonna go. Well, how are we gonna do this, Al Bandito?
How are we gonna do this? I think we're gonna do it. Movies from suck to good. This is what Bull hit me with. It was like, let's just do them from suck to good, and I was like, yeah, that's kind of awesome. I dig it. So
all right.
This is like, rather than saying, oh, let's talk about the original one and then the next one and the next one, we're going to talk about the ones we hate the most first, kind of get them out of the way, tell you why they suck, and then tell you guys why the good movies are freaking good. Because we've all seen these Predator movies, and we know which ones suck. But we'll have fun kind of ripping some to shreds. We'll have even more fun talking about the awesome ones. So what do you say we jump right into it?
Let's do it. Let's start it off with the suckiest of the bunch.
Oh, man, look, Bishop's down there going, that dude has a xenomorph mask, bro. That's all right, so we're starting
Too bad it never gets used. No,
yeah, right. But we're starting off with a xenomorph film, the Alien vs. Predator Requiem. Look, I'm like, Requiem.
Requiem. You sound like Bugs Bunny over here.
I'm like Webbigail, right, from DuckTales. But no, okay, so Alien vs. Predator Requiem was actually the sequel. See, I was trying to say sequel and Requiem at the same time.
Wrecked him.
Yeah, damn near killed him. But it was the sequel to the original Alien vs. Predator. And, okay, so I'm going to start off by saying something good about this 2007 movie. It picks up literally from the same scene that Alien vs. Predator ends, which is a shot from the Predator ship where they're doing kind of a funeral for the Predator who died. And I was like, that's really cool that it picked up right from there. And then it has like a little scene there and a kind of chest burster action where the Predator got infected with an alien.
Yeah, the Pred-alien.
Yeah, and then it immediately goes to Earth, and we spend the whole rest of the time with a bunch of nobody's people doing nothing with no aliens and no predators for like an hour. I don't know what was going on.
It was like a high school party or something. Like you said, if you're gonna say anything good about the film, like what you just said, it's like that's all I have to say about that.
Yeah, the comments are just like boo, suck, boo.
Well, this movie was made by the brothers Strauss, which I guess is a duo who are mostly known for making music videos.
Yeah, and like we said, the cast is filled with nobodies. Nobody will recognize or remember it all. Didn't go on to do anything good because this was a 2007 film.
Yep. And the hybrid alien sucked.
Yeah, I do want to take a second to talk about the hybrid alien because, like, both individually, both of these characters or monsters, whatever you want to call them, aliens, right? Both of these aliens have a great, unique design that, look at Jason L. What's up, buddy? They have this great, unique design that's really cool and very frightening and very just aesthetic, like you look at it and you just want to see more of it. But somehow this completely loses it, like, I don't know why parts of it are white. I mean, I know the Predator's skin is a little white on the inside, but why are like the outside of his shoulders white? That doesn't seem like you could conceal that very well. It seems like the kind of four-way jowls thing should have been on the little inner mouth, like the little inner alien mouth rather than the outside of his head, because it's not like they're funneling anything in there. They're set so far back up the side of his head, he can't actually funnel anything into his mouth. So, and they didn't give him enough dreads. He has like shitty dreads, So he was kind of bigger and more impressive, but the way that he walked upright kind of just threw the whole thing off for me. Like it took away that alien aesthetic of it that he shouldn't be very smart still, right? I mean, you bred like kind of a instinct-based creature with a smart one. Doesn't equal smart, A negative and a positive. They don't make a positive. They're a negative still.
Yeah, this movie is pretty negative.
Yeah. So not a super lot going on there. We'll tell you guys this did get a whopping 11% on Rotten Tomatoes.
So definitely a negative. If you're thinking about watching this, make it a negative. We're going to talk about a lot better movies.
Mr. Fusion says it was so dark you could barely see what was going on through most of the movie.
That might have been a good thing.
I don't know, dude. In true horror fashion, they did at least have some hot chicks in it, so that was kind of cool. But too little, too late, right?
Well, okay, so we like I said, we are going from suck to good, so that was definitely the least bit. So I'm glad you guys have stuck around.
Yeah,
we still got the Legion is sticking with us.
That's the suckiest of the suck. Nothing will be that bad. We got through it quickly. So let's move on. So we're talking Alien versus Predator, the original, the first one that came out in 2003. Paul Wes Anderson.
Yes.
Is it Wes or W.S.?
W.S. I think
W.S?
that's
Okay.
It's stylized,
Whatever.
I'm
going to call him Wes. Shut up, Wesley.
Wesley. Well, he's known for directing Mortal Kombat and
Resident Evil.
Absolutely. Yeah. I've always enjoyed both of those films.
Yeah, so he's definitely at his core the guy who's like, I am going to take a great concept and a great kind of franchise idea and do something that doesn't have anything to do with the original source material. And it's still kind of good, but you're left with that feeling of like, well, what happened to all the shit from the other movies that we really liked? Like, and that's kind of what Alien versus Predator was to me. It was a little like, oh, okay, well, we didn't get like any of the what was going on in some of the other movies. We didn't get no commando guys. We didn't get any space marines, And I get it. It was kind of set in the past and all this stuff, but it just seemed weird. It seemed like it left out too much of the Predator franchise for me.
It was starring predators, aliens, and then that in this movie, the Pred alien was kind of like, oh, hey, that's like at the very end, you could just like not make another movie and just either figure that thing murdered all the predators. You know what I mean? Like it's almost best left to like the mystery. But if I was going to say a good one or a good thing about this film is I really liked that they got the actor who played Bishop in the Alien movies to come back and be like the president of the Watani.
Yeah, the Weyland-Yutani Corporation.
Yeah. That was kind of a cool thing. But like we said earlier, it doesn't really add to the Predator aspect, like you said. They were just,
Yeah, it doesn't add to the Predator aspect, and it almost kind of takes away from something in Alien that, like, well, why was Bishop the one random robot that they had made to look like the owner who died like 300 years ago? You know, like, I guess we make robots a Lincoln, but still, it just seemed weird.
I think this is Disneyland. No, I'm just kidding.
Look, Brian E says it still trumps the Space Force. So.
I think he's saying it's Trump's Space Force. Now they're hiring. You can go work for Bishop.
Nice, man. I like Mr. Fusion better. He's like, want some candy?
There you go. Well, tell him what did this one score on the old tomato meter?
Well, real quick, I'll say the one good thing I liked was just the fact that Aliens and Predators were together.
Oh, sure.
Because it kind of came off the Freddy versus Jason hype and like getting kind of studio stuff together. So that was pretty cool. So,
Sure. No, it definitely, everyone was like, what's going to fight next? Chucky and Pinhead? It's like, come on.
Yeah, yeah. Well, this had definitely been one of those like dream mashups.
Oh,
and
yeah.
It didn't go horribly wrong. It was like, you know?
Yeah.
20% on Rotten Tomatoes.
So really, it's only like 9% better than its sequel.
It feels a good 9% better.
Yeah,
it doesn't feel much better than.
Like
9%.
you said, it was different. It was the first time they were doing that. Like you say, even though Freddy versus Jason kind of did it first, it was kind of like, oh, cool.
Yeah,
just kind of following in those footsteps. So just that was neat. All right, so what's next?
All right, so next up, we're talking Predators, man. Now, this was, I keep saying it's the Robert Rodriguez helmed. Because it kind of like, dude, come on, man. You know, the guy, it's Nimrod Antal. The guy's name is Nimrod. How much work did he put into that? No, I'm just playing. I don't mean to make fun of the guy's name, but you know, he's known for doing Metallica Through the Never.
Yeah,
you know, and other music videos and stuff like that. Yeah. So this was kind of a big movie for him to take on, and you have a feeling that Robert Rodriguez, as a producer, really had a lot of influence in what was going on screen here, you know?
Sure.
And remember, at the time, Robert Rodriguez is still in trouble from Sin City.
Yes.
You know, and letting Frank Miller direct parts of it. So, you know, it feels like this was a movie Robert Rodriguez directed, but they didn't let him actually say he directed it. And yes, Justin Cade had Machete, which was awesome. And he was super cool in the movie. And I know we went back and forth on this one, and I think I was wrong. I am going to say that I was wrong, and I think you're right, Senor Bull, but I pushed to have this one in this spot, but I think it's a better movie than probably the next movie on the list, just because of the cast and the eclectic nature of everyone getting killed. Like, there were so many kills and different cool things. I mean, Adrian Brody, obviously, was in it. Topher Grace, didn't do shit. Lawrence Fishburne was there. He was pretty cool. I think he actually got nominated for like a supporting actor award or something for that. Not from the Academy, but like a Golden Globe or something like that. And you know, Danny Trejo was there. A couple of other cool actors. But like the scene that they had where the Yakuza guy is like fighting the Predator with knives, like that was really cool. The whole concept of them like taking Predators and having them have like a closed hunt.
Yeah.
So that they could bring the people and put them in there. I mean, we do that, you know, where people go to a preserve and you shoot animals there and have a guide help you. So it seemed like, oh, this would be a really cool concept if, like, we get there and all the predators that are there, you know, like you said, saying strict to the mythos of only 3 predators can fight at a time, you would say, hey, get 3 of them. Maybe 2 of them are kids and one of them's an older one, or maybe 2 of them are old men, you know, like, hey, I'm going to take my grandpa out one last time, you know, and his buddy Duke, you wanted some humans.
You wanted the retirement home predators to be there, like the old predators.
No, but I can tell you what I didn't want was them to be like, oh, but don't worry, because Super Predator's here, and he's even worser than the other Predators. So let's see, because here's regular Predator, right? We all know him. We all think he's one ugly mother. But they had to come in with, like, Super Predator, and he has, like, a spider on his head, and, you know, he had, like, red eyeballs, and he, like, looks corny when compared to, like, the regular Predator. You know, like, look at how cool and detailed this guy is. Look at how weak sauce this guy is, you know? Let's see if we can put this up big for the Legion out there. Guy's a little corny. I don't know.
Looks like
he
looks like he belongs in a music video.
Yeah, look, this guy's got little horns and stuff. This guy, the kind of weak sauce, man. So I don't know. I hate the concept of Super Predator and everything going on with that. I think the rest of the movie was pretty cool. Only one other thing that to me really pissed me off was, like, at the very end, they ended the same way the original Predator ended. Which is like, okay, I get it. I get why that worked in the original and stuff like that. But, okay, so it's been like 30 years. And like it's a whole team of predators and a super predator, and they can't get past fucking mud. Like,
oh, look at Travis Gibbs there. Who you calling weak sauce?
who did I call weak sauce?
I think he was calling you were calling the
super predator. He was weak, man.
That guy would bite your head off. Well, I mean, remember, I think what I liked about the whole super predator versus it's almost like the one predator that kind of teamed up with Adrian Brody was kind of like the predator that like Arnold fought, like that level. And this other guy's like some kind of almost like he's like a veteran or some sort of bigger brother kind of guy that's just like, you know, so it's like you almost had to raise the ante a little bit. But you're right, it was practically almost like a remake of the original Predator, but of course with a little bit of a different premise. Yeah. Like a soft reboot. You know?
No, I'd like Chris Hall, man. Thanks for joining us tonight. He's like, Topher gets killed. What more do you need? If he'd have got killed before he made Spider-Man 3, that would have been super. But
well, all right. So what did this one get on the old?
Let's check it out. 65 on Rotten Tomatoes. So people really, really like this one. I really feel like this movie has a case of it came out during Rotten Tomatoes time, and people were using it a whole bunch, and it was just that sort of thing. Rather than some of the older flicks, it's like, well, who's really going back and rating them? People who want to dog the shit out of those bad movies, you know?
I think what it was, man, for myself, why I really liked this movie is after those two Alien versus Predator movies, I was like, this finally feels like a Predator movie, you know? So it was like kind of like a breath of fresh air. But I did really like this film. And like I said, I think technically this should go before the next film in the list. But as you said, with a Power Hour of Love, we collaborate. And,
Again, I think you were right. I'll call that I was wrong on this one because maybe the next movie isn't as good as I remember. I don't think I've seen it in 20 years. But I will say this, though, right? This movie, I think, has a little bit of that Force Awakens like phenomenon going on, where like the prequels were so bad that everyone was like, Force Awakens great because it's not terrible. But you're like, it's not good. So there's a lot of good stuff in Predators, but it's not like as good as it should have been for the premise it had.
I don't know, man. I think Mikey B just won comment of the night.
What did he put? Chris Hansen can take down Super Predator. See, that's what I mean. He sucks, man.
Why don't you have a seat right here, Super Predator? Oh, Joel D. Winecoop has joined us. Welcome, Joel.
What's up? All right, so that is Predators in a nutshell. Next up, we got Predator 2, which, like I said, I think sucks less because I think it's a better sequel to the original movie because I think it advances the mythos. And that was kind of my premise on it, you know, was that it all kind of makes sense. It tells us a little bit more about the Predator. It had a good star in it. You know, Danny Glover at the time, 1990, was a pretty big star still. He was kind of coming off the Lethal Weapon stuff.
Oh, you know it, man. I mean, it was like, you know, I mean, he was, I would say he was definitely a lead star. I mean, because, you know, I don't know if they ever planned to, like, bring Arnold back. Like, I don't know if that was ever a thing. But like you said, like this is kind of like it was cool that it didn't take place in the jungle. That, you know, it took place in the city, you know, and it was like a concrete jungle, you know, and it kind of dealt with different things. So it was like it kept a lot of the stuff that made the first movie cool, but then like added a lot of other stuff that's kind of like, oh man, you know, had like that whole voodoo stuff going on, and you know, there's a lot of, you know, a lot of other good actors in there too. You had Bill Paxton and Gary Busey who's played like, I mean, I guess you'd call him the bad guy, you know, and he does make a reference to Arnold, like, you know, when they're talking about him, you know, so it's kind of cool that you're right. They totally didn't want to make it seem like, oh, this is a completely different, you know, time, you know, it was maybe only a couple years after the first movie.
Yeah. And like I said, I probably would rate Predators better than Predator 2. I just think there are story elements about it that make it a better sequel. I think Travis Gibbs' just brain exploded from reading his comments, like with rage at me for saying that I didn't like Predators. But just some of those little plot elements to me didn't quite add up. Like we spent a lot of time with Lawrence Fishburne and some broke down ship that I didn't care about, and honestly had nothing to do with the plot by the end of the film. You know, so there was just a lot of wasted time, a lot of stuff that could have been better. But yeah, like Predator 2, at least there was. I mean, like I said, I'm going 20 years back when I seen this movie, but I remember there always being something kind of different going on. But I'll have to watch it again. I still think Predators is probably more enjoyable, especially from the popcorn standpoint. But I just think the story might have made a little bit more sense. But
Legion of Love, I need some help. Like is this the first time in a movie that we see the Predator like try to fix himself? Like, I don't think he did that in the first movie, did he?
I think he may have.
Really? But okay, but this is the first time you see him fix himself in an old lady's apartment bathroom.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, there's like a lot of interesting shit like that to me really evolved the mythos rather than we're kind of seeing the same thing again. Because to me, Predators was like, we're seeing the same thing again. You know, I mean, it was cool. It was a cool idea, but they didn't follow through with the premise of them being on a hunter world. You know, or what do they call that? I wish I could remember what they call that. You know, where they like a staged hunt,
like a game hunt. Like
you know, I don't know if that's the term specifically. I'm not much of a hunter myself, but it just seems like that sort of caged hunt thing should have had more of an aspect of maybe people competing to kill a bunch of people who could kill the most or something like that. But instead it had this weird kind of B story about two classes of predator fighting, and we're like, dude, is that really what we need in a Predator movie, is some classist message in the background? I'm like, come on, get out of here.
Well, how about, you know, the cool disc thing that he introduced in Predator 2? That was pretty awesome.
Party Man Will is in the house, and he says, yes, he did. First Predator pulled out a first aid kit. It hurt while he was doing it, and they heard him scream.
Oh, okay. Well, thank you, Party Man. Well, I mean, once again, though, it was the first time he ever did it in an old lady's bathroom.
But, okay, we're getting hung up on Predator 2 versus Predators. But I appreciate the people who are backing me. If you have a different opinion, I get it. I think these are so kind of interchangeable. But I will say one thing. Man, Rotten Tomatoes did not freaking agree with me. I can tell you that, because as cool as it is to see the Predator in, what was he, Chicago, New York?
Yeah, I think it was Chicago.
In a big city.
No, it was L.A. It was
L.A.?
Yeah,
was it?
Sure
okay.
It was LA. Oh, yeah,
we saw the first team of Predators when they
Yes.
came down. This was so cool to me at the end of the movie when they're like, oh, Danny Glover, here, you get like this old musket relic, and you get to keep it as a trophy.
It's a trophy. But, yeah, and you did actually see the alien skull in the trophy room.
Yeah, Chris Hall just said the same thing down there, that he's like, there's a xenomorph skull in the ship. So.
And that pretty much is what spiked the whole thing. We'll get into the comic aspect of Predator relation really soon. But, yes, let's see what Rotten Tomatoes had to say about Predator 2.
Oh, we missed a slide in there, I think. I think it's gone, but I'll tell you what it got. It got, shit, I don't remember off the top of my head. I think it was 28%.
It wasn't very high.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was 28%.
Pretty much, yeah. Predators definitely, at least according to Rotten Tomatoes, which, you know, isn't like our go-to place. We just thought that was a good median where a lot of people check things out.
Hold on, look. I'm going to look right now. We're going to do this live on the air. What is Star Wars Episode 3 on Rotten Tomatoes? Because this always blows my mind every time I look at it. It's just like it hurts my brain. Let's see here. 79%. That got that's like one of the worst movies ever made. Like, it's so stupid. And that got a 79%. So I can't go off Rotten Tomatoes, man. Who knows what people are doing over there?
Well, okay, so like we said, obviously, you know, we got a good split room here. Some people liked Predator 2, some people liked, you know, Predators, but I think we can all come together with the love and agree that the best movie in the Predator franchise so far, we don't know about this new one yet, but has to be the original go-to Predator.
Yeah, 1987, Arnold Schwarzenegger. Almost everyone on that cast was full of life, full of energy. Were superstars, man. Helmed by John McTiernan, who also did Die Hard, The Hunt for Red October, and Last Action Hero. So no help on the last one, but the first two super good.
Hey, I always thought Last Action Hero was a great concept.
Yeah, I think it's a very fun movie, but it's a schlock movie. Like, it was made to not be taken very seriously, but then the way they marketed it was like it was a super serious badass, like another cool Schwarzenegger movie. So I think it suffered from like a bad marketing program. But either way, Party Man Will, Rotten Tomatoes can't be relied on unless it gives us the answer we like.
Jeez.
So, but, you know, Die Hard, Hunt for Red October, the man knows how to put a movie together, and he put Predator together in a masterful sense, dude. Great kind of storytelling in the sense that everything at the beginning was very down to earth. It was very relatable. You kind of understood what was going on, and things slowly escalated. You took that journey with the protagonists of the film to kind of unveil what was going on and learn about these predators along with the people in the film. Something that a lot of the other films didn't get to do. Like, we knew more than the audience, and that becomes kind of weird. So they feel like they have to add in stuff for the audience to learn when we really don't need to. So I think that's where they trip up on a lot of these sequels. But in the original film, that progression, let's just run through. Amazing cast, right?
Oh, yeah.
Awesome cast of guys. We got Schwarzenegger helming it. We got Carl Weathers right there with them. We got great shots like this of them just ripping through the jungle, when they don't know what it is that's killing them, and they all just let loose out there. Jesse Ventura with a minigun. Come on, man.
Yeah.
I mean, what's not to like about this movie, dude?
You know it, man. No, it is absolutely a classic, man. And now you let me in on a little tidbit that I'm sure probably a lot of Legion of Love know, but might kind of give them a little, at least, if anyone's on the fence about this upcoming movie, this might kind of make you feel a little more like, hey, at least it's somebody from the old days.
Look, I like this. Party Man Will says Predator was McTieran's first film. The guy who plays Hawkins was a script writer, script doctor, who was brought on to keep an eye on the first-time director. Well, here, we're going to give you even more of an insight of that, right? Like, Shane Black is the guy who wrote, like, Lethal Weapon. He wrote The Long Kiss Goodnight. He wrote a ton of really cool movies. He did Iron Man 3. I think he both wrote and directed the actual script for that one. But the Shane Black is also the guy directing and who wrote The Predator, the movie coming out this Friday. So he's in the original movie. He is Hawkins, right? We got a shot of him. Here's the awesome Predator, right? The original. Let's skip ahead. We'll find Hawkins. Here we go. Hawkins, reading his Sergeant Rock comic, man. This is Shane Black. This is the guy who is going to end up directing and writing and helming this new Predators movie that's coming out now. So you can't get someone who's more connected to the franchise than a guy who not only worked on the first script, but wrote enough punchy, cool jokes and stuff that they put him in as the character Hawkins.
You know it, man. And yeah, like you said, like, I mean, the guy has written a lot of other great films, and I know he directed that, what, Kiss Kiss Bang Bang and
yes.
stuff, and Iron Man 3, so he definitely has some director talents behind him. So I'm interested to see.
No doubt, guys. But what happened there? Let's jump back a few slides here.
Shane Black broke our Tron here, the Powertron.
So we got the original Predator, man, just looking awesome, super cool. So we've got a couple of cool facts here. 7 cool facts about the original Predator, right? So the first film was born on a joke, right? So they say that according to the legend, the idea of the Predator script, the story, originated as people kind of circulated the stories after Rocky IV that Sylvester Stallone would have to fight an alien from outer space to find an opponent that could actually beat him. And with that, they ended up writing the film and ultimately casting Schwarzenegger instead of Stallone. Another interesting fact, Jean-Claude Van Damme was originally cast to play the Predator when he looked very different. He was this kind of goofy, lengthy kind of monster. Apparently Van Damme was kind of not into doing a lot of the stunts, said the costume was kind of shitty and wasn't into it, and finally left, which a lot of people think is cool because then they brought in the new actor whose name I didn't write down. I feel bad. But I know he's huge. This guy was like 6'8" or 6'9" or something. He's just a giant guy and was just awesome. So he really made the Predator kind of come to life, right? The final face of the Predator, the 4-way mandible, was actually inspired by James Cameron, right? So the entire Predator design was redesigned from the original Van Damme version, right? But once James Cameron kind of got them connected with Stan Winston and was talking with them, the mandibles, right, which can only be seen when he removes his helmet, were supposedly actually the idea of James Cameron, who had just realized aliens, you know?
Sure.
Shane Black was there to rework the script. We just talked about that. There are 2 future governors in the film. I see a lot of the Legion of Love down there is calling that out. So, yeah, Jesse Ventura and Schwarzenegger both went on to become governors of their own states. And Valverde is a fictional country well known in cinema. So the Predator events take place in Valverde, a country in Central America that doesn't exist. But it's not the first or the last time that we've heard of this fictional Nicaraguan. We've heard of this fictional Nicaragua in a movie, right? So invented by producer and screenwriter Steven E. Souza, Valverde made his first appearance in Commando. Boy, I wrote this so sloppy, guys. I'm sorry. And then later we see it again in another movie. Let's see, 58 Minutes to Live.
Well, definitely Commando. I could see that.
Yeah. Yeah, that's pretty cool.
It's pretty much like Arnold walked off the set of one and right onto the other, right?
Yeah. Basically had the same outfit. It says the machismo in the film was deliberately funny, and that most of the cast was told to just, be macho and have fun, be cool guys. And that's what they did. But there's just a couple quick facts about the original Predator. Like we said, the movie ends with Schwarzenegger doing the all I'm in mud thing, the classic, you're one ugly
Come
mother.
on, come and get me.
kill me now. And I mean, that's one thing we could say about this original Predator is so much of it is iconic when it comes to pop culture and cult followings. I mean, even to this day, GIF after GIF after GIF. I mean, the two guys doing the...
Oh, yeah.
Whoa, I mean, classic stuff like
you
that.
Son of a bitch. so good.
Yeah.
Dylan.
Unforgettable movie, man.
stuff.
Super cool.
But absolutely, man. So we went through, the current movies that have been released on. After some PoDunk news, I know we're going to talk a little bit about the upcoming movie and see what you guys think about it. And also, we're going to dive into some comic books and some video games.
Absolutely, guys. Now, one place where Rotten Tomatoes did not fail, like Party Man Will said, was giving the original Predator an 80% on Rotten Tomatoes, which I feel like is still kind of too low. Maybe there's a couple slow parts in the beginning that people were bitching about. I have no idea. But the rest of this movie is phenomenal. It's classic. It's well-directed. It's well-written. It's well-shot. It's just an all-around pretty damn good movie. But like Senior Bull said, we've got a lot of action coming on the other side of the PoDunk news. But for right now, why don't we fill you guys in on some of the latest and greatest stuff going on in our crazy PoDunk world?
Oh, let's do it.
PoDunk news.
Oh yeah, man! Get to the PoDunk news. You know it, man. We're loving talking about Predator, but we're going to jump into some current events that are going on. Some sad, some good. Definitely all kinds of crazy.
Absolutely, guys. And we are going to start off with a bit of a sad story tonight.
Yes, a lot of times we talk about many of the mainstream wrestlers that pass away. We actually have some bad news to share that local Florida wrestler, indie wrestler Nathan Vane has passed away. Unfortunately, he was in a very bad car accident, and now he's lost his life, and it's just very sad, that someone this young and talented is no longer with us.
Yeah, he was absolutely one of our favorites when we would run around to local events. He wrestled for the CWA, the WXW, and many other indie organizations here around Florida, and he was always awesome to watch, man. He had this cool, vampire persona, and he would come out, totally creepy and weird, almost Gangrel-esque style, and he could just entertain the crowd. He could work it. We saw him do a casket match one time that was just phenomenal. I mean, the guy just was super talented.
The harbinger of pain.
Yeah, yeah, and so great with audiences. He kept up that persona even in the crowd, but was still nice enough to grab photos with us and things, but in his persona, and he somehow worked that out in a way that was just brilliant. So,
definitely, man.
Sad.
Yeah, very sad to see him go, and I know a lot of the local organizations have been throwing up some tributes to him and stuff like that, but definitely much love from the Power Hour, man.
Absolutely. But next up, we got a 24-year-old secret coming out of Doom 2, man. That's right, guys. So it turns out that just like you see with Guardians of the Galaxy, there are spoilers hidden all around that directors can't help but tease, haven't been discovered yet, and one of them was recently discovered for the classic Doom 2 first-person shooter, right? So the story goes, right, that the secret is a teleporter, right? And it's marked as a discoverable secret. But when you touch it, you never enter the sector. So you would never get inside the teleporter sector to trigger the secret. But what someone discovered finally was that the only way to trigger the teleporter is to be pushed into it by an enemy. So there is a playthrough you can check out online and stuff like that, and watch as this guy like kicks butt all through Doom 2, manages to get knocked into the secret teleporter here, and then actually get 100% completion on the game.
There you go, man. Everyone that was sitting on 99, now they know it. Now they're going to have to go out there and try to do it.
No doubt, guys. You better keep rocking it.
Get to the teleporter.
All right. So no place like Grand Rapids. Why don't you take this one, Senor Paul?
Oh, yeah, man. Any Wizard of Oz fans out there probably have already heard about this, but the original ruby slippers worn by Judy Garland in the 1939 film were stolen in 2005, but now have been returned 13 years later. The FBI says that they're not done and will catch the perpetrators. So even though they've been returned, they want to know where they've been for the last 13 years. The shoes have been returned to the Judy Garland Museum in Grand Rapids, Minnesota, and are going to be re-unveiled once there's some new security in place. So it sounds like they're definitely going to take, precautions, or more precautions than originally they did.
Yeah, absolutely, man. After 13 years, they're probably pretty bummed. So.
Absolutely. But what's next?
All right, next up, we got a Cryptic Daredevil promo. Came out earlier last week. This video is kind of more like a GIF, but it's a missing sign for Matt Murdock, right? With the busy streets of New York kind of just going by behind him, paying no mind to the poor, blind lawyer who's actually Daredevil, and was seen kind of, disappearing at the end of the Defenders. But kind of spoiler alert, if you haven't watched the Defenders yet, I don't know what you're doing, but the idea is that the rest of the Defenders think he's dead, but he has miraculously survived, but is somewhere else. He's incapacitated, right? But the reason I wanted to bring this story up is because in true awesome Marvel fashion, the first couple of retweets and responses and comments on this tweet were by the Defenders themselves, so I got them here. Check this out. First up replying is Jessica Jones, who says, "Who would do this?" And then Luke Cage right behind her saying, "What's wrong with keeping hope alive?" Followed by, Iron Fist Danny Rand saying, "Yeah, this city needs more guys like him." And Jessica, in true Jessica fashion, says, "That doesn't make him any less dead."
Oh, man.
Real nice.
Woo. Well, definitely, that's a lot of fun. I like that they keep that going, even, kind of like guerrilla marketing a little bit there. Like on your Twitter, you got the actual characters, like, putting down their feelings.
I don't know what. I just looked down at the comments. I don't know what you guys are talking about. But you're like, is that a pic of El Bandito's feet in the ruby slippers, you mean? So how many weirdos have fapped to that pic? What are you guys doing, man?
They're like, listen, we're not talking about missing Matt Murdock. We're talking about feet, ruby slippers. Yeah.
Oh, Mike B got it, man. He says it's not about Daredevil, it's about the Ninja Turtles. You know, that's that secret connection between the Ninja Turtles and Daredevil.
There you go.
The toxic waste that supposedly blinded Daredevil is supposed to be what inspired the original writers of the Ninja Turtles as the ooze that would have created the turtles.
There you go.
All right, so cosplay returns, man. These guys showed up to Dragon Con as the iconic version of Batman Returns from Frank Miller's classic, and Carrie Kelly, the Robin that he had in that series, the female Robin. So this is Mark Robards and Vixie Cosplay, who showed up to Dragon Con in this killer freaking cosplay.
That's pretty cool.
Give everybody a chance to check out. We'll throw it up on the big screen.
Did they show up in the tank-like Batmobile?
Oh, I guess we're not throwing. Oh, where are we going? We're back in the Woo!
PoDunk News.
Oh my God.
Round and round we go. Just whatever. Sorry, guys. That was my fault.
We got a lot of love on that one. Yeah.
They're like, get out of here, you knuckleheads.
Oh, man, that's funny.
Did Batman and Robin F in that run of comics? No, they did not. Not to my knowledge. No, I'm pretty sure the book is very specific on what happens there.
Yes, yes.
But she's cute. So I see your point.
But
thanks for hanging out, Lil Nasty 69, and adding that comment. All right, next up from there, though, We got some local love for you guys. That's right. This is a part of the PoDunk News here where we tell you guys about something fun and exciting going on right here in our backyard of South Florida that you guys can attend to and might even see Charboil and El Bandito at.
Oh, yeah. So I got to say, guys, do you like Star Wars? Do you like Burlesque?
Yeah.
Well,
do you like titties?
Well, show them what's going on, El
We got
Bandito.
the Rebel Scum Burlesque, a science fiction striptease coming Friday, September 14th. That's this Friday.
Oh, yeah, man. And I know you've been down to the Kelsey Theater for one or two of these burlesque shows, and you can tell them that it's pretty awesome,
They're
right?
very nice. It's a very nice establishment, great lighting in there for that kind of show. Like, has a great atmosphere, but it's not so dark that you're like, dude, what's going on?
Absolutely, man. And, you know, what's cool is they have two shows, so there's one on Friday and Saturday. It is 18 and over, because, you know, boobs. And who knows, maybe, I mean, I know they have some male cosplayers too, so probably some socks. General admission's $15, but if you want to sit in the first 3 rows, that's going to run you $25, and they are saying that they are welcoming cosplay. So if you went to Dragon Con, if you went to Space Coast Comic Con, you dressed up, guess what? It's not time to put those costumes away before Halloween. You can wear them again at the Rebel Scum Burlesque.
Absolutely, guys. Justin K, are you offering to be a producer? You want to come in and run the board? If you guys had any idea how much crap I actually do in the middle of the show, you'd probably be like, man, that guy should just go home. What's he doing?
No, that's why we got this.
That's
right
why
here.
you get no work. You do hard work.
I just like that. I can be like, me.
But yes, it is at the Kelsey Theater, guys. I see some questions down there.
Absolutely. That's down in Lake Park. And, very, very cool place.
Yeah, no doubt. But all right, guys, now it's time for the headlines. This is the rapid-fire segment of the show where we're just going to hit you with the headlines because they're pretty big news. You either already saw it or can Google it in like 2 seconds. No, we don't got to waste a lot of time on it. But we did want to mention it. First and foremost, we did lose a major celebrity last week, Mr. Burt Reynolds himself, passing at the 82 years old, man. Just an icon of his era, just a legend. I mean, doing his work on Archer still. You know, you're just like, this guy never put it down, man. It's awesome.
That's the Bandit, man. He's you know, he's up there. He's cruising, man.
Yeah.
He's cruising around.
He's up there crushing it in heaven.
Well, I gotta say, man, remember there was that one Burt Reynolds movie where like him and that little kid were like buddy cops kind of thing.
I think I missed that one.
You missed that one? Okay, we won't even go there. But so what else is going on in the headlines?
All right, Iron Fist Season 2. I saw a lot of the Legionnaires down there commenting about this one. So yeah, it did premiere. Me and Senior Bull checked out the first episode already, man. It was pretty hot.
I'm digging it. I'm digging it. Now here's one thing I know. I did go and try it just to see what Rotten Tomatoes had to say, and they trashed it. So there you go. There's another reason why you can't always trust that tomato meter. But maybe we'll have to see what the rest of the season does.
Exactly. I was going to say, we only saw the first episode, but I can't say this. Even in the first episode alone, I think the fighting is way better than the first season, which I thought was kind of weak compared to Daredevil. Like, you expected Iron Fist to have some baller fight scenes, and he really didn't. But he did a lot better than the Defenders, and this movie kind of keeps that pace of him kicking some serious ass. So I dig it.
Is Nasty 99 down there talking about Burt Reynolds or Iron Fist?
He's talking about Burt Reynolds. Yeah, that came in a bit ago.
Just in case you guys can't see that, he's saying he had a big wiener too.
Yeah, that sounds like personal knowledge right there.
Oh yeah.
All right. Also, Captain Marvel released its first exclusive behind-the-scenes set pictures with this awesome Skrull Island. You know, the guys Skrulls coming out of the beach there. It looks like the classic 4 Skrulls that would have been in the original Fantastic Four comic. But who knows what the story is going to be. I try not to delve into it too much. I don't like spoilers that much. But I do have to say that I love how much the internet kind of picked this up and ran with it, made a bunch of memes about it looking like a 90s album cover, like they were going to put out some reggae or something. But it's already completely forgotten about because that's the way the internet moves. And now today, everything's all about Colin Kaepernick memes. So we don't have any of those. And Lil Nasty 69 says Iron Fist has a tiny pee-pee.
Okay, there you go.
Ouch.
I Nasty 69 will have to be our pee-pee correspondent.
All right. Well, House of Queens, man. House of Cards released a kind of teaser on its Twitter earlier this week showing that Frank Underwood, Kevin Spacey's character, is now dead in the series. And the final season will be helmed by Robin Wright. And I have to say I'm pretty stoked about that. I know anyone who's been watching the show for a while knows that I have complained quite a bit about the show's production slowing down just because of what happened with Spacey. Like, there's a lot of other hardworking people on that phenomenal show, and I'm just super psyched to see it actually going to get its final season, and the rest of those people can kind of realize their vision. So that's pretty cool.
Absolutely, man. I know you're a huge fan of that show, so it'll be interesting on where it goes from there.
Yep. All right. And Tesla stock isn't high, but Elon Musk is. He was seen earlier this week on the Joe Rogan podcast, smoking weed, hanging out, and just having fun. But that did cause the Tesla stock to drop an astounding 6% almost overnight. So we'll have to see what goes from there. But considering the guy owns a company that drills into the earth, and it's called the Boring Company, because it bores, but it's also boring. He seems pretty cool, So gotta say, pretty cool guy. And they just released another news nugget about it this morning, I think, trying to cover this up, and how they're using Xbox One controllers to power their boring machines.
Oh,
so,
man!
But I can tell you this: the Joe Rogan show's countering his boring machines because there ain't nothing boring going on over there.
Well, he was all like, "I was gonna go to Mars, but then I got high." I was going to shoot off a couple more cars, but then I got high.
There goes, man.
No.
Man.
Crazy stuff, man. Well, it was done in California where that's legal and all. But
what did he inhale? Good question. I don't know. Jason L., thanks for that one.
That's funny.
All right, and if you haven't seen Solo, we are going to throw some spoilers out for Solo. It sucks and it's stupid, so I don't think it matters. But just in case, if you want to take about 30 seconds, bounce away, bounce back, hit mute, or probably don't even look at us for 30 seconds because it's a visual spoiler. They put out some official, high-resolution, very clear photos of Darth Maul's robot legs. That's right, Darth Maul, who was seemingly pieced back together through Sith magic or something. Who the hell knows? He has no ability to poo. No lower intestines or anything because he was completely cut in half. But he has robot legs and he's fine. So that is why one of a myriad of reasons why I hated that movie and thought it was terrible and stupid. But Lil Nasty says now Darth Maul has 2 robo peepees. So there you go.
There you go.
But yeah, here's a high-res image of his stupid robot legs and how stupid that movie was. That'll wrap it up for the headlines, guys.
Absolutely, man. The wild edition of PoDunk News. But why don't we get back in and start talking more about the Predator?
You got it, guys. We got just a little bit of Predator action left for you. We're coming up on the hour, but we're going to show you guys some cool stuff coming right up.
Oh, yeah. Oh, man. I got to tell you, El Bandito, like you said, we talked about all of those earlier Predator movies. So why don't we talk a little bit about this one that's coming at us?
You got it, man. The new Shane Black-helmed The Predator is coming out this weekend.
Oh, man. Yeah, so, I mean, like you said, we've seen the trailers. We've seen the Predator. It looks like he's beating somebody up in a mall. What do you think about this one?
First and foremost, when I saw that this was the poster for it, and it was very much a kind of retro poster, like this almost looks drawn as opposed to CGI'd or anything, I was pretty excited. I thought, man, that looks pretty on point, But when I saw the actual trailer, I also got I had this kind of mixed feelings on it, right? Because part of it was they were doing that slow piano music, like, oh, look, do you remember? It was that Member Berries thing. They're like, you remember this thing? I remember. You remember the Predator? He was so cool. But then it had like a kid. Like it started off with a kid. And I was like, no, dude, that's #1 thing to F up every movie. Superman Returns had a kid, sucked. Right? Star Wars Episode 1 had a kid, sucked. You don't put kids in movies, man, especially cool, badass movies. But whatever, it looked like he instantly died or something. So you're like, okay, that might be cool. But then his dad or something has to do with some alien thing or whatever. I don't know. It goes to a lot of different places very quick. But what I can say is it jumps ahead a little bit, and there's a couple scientists, and they seem to be researching space stuff. And I think it's Olivia Munn shouts out like, are you guys calling this thing a predator? It's more like a hunter, not really a predator. And the Sterling Brown, he shouts back to her, "Yeah, but we all talked about it. Predator sounds real cool, right, guys?" And everyone's like, "Fuck yeah, fuck yeah, fuck yeah!" And I was like, "Whoa, okay." So they have like just a ton of obligatory cursing in it and cool ass action. So it really strikes me as an 80s flick kind of style, and I love that. And I haven't seen any snow in the trailer yet, but it is Shane Black, so it might be a Christmas movie.
Just maybe so. So, like we were saying, so Shane Black is directing it. As we talked about earlier, he was in the original Predator, so that kind of brings a connection there. So that's kind of cool.
Yeah, exactly. And we got a little bit of a synopsis here. It's from 20th Century Fox itself. From the outer reaches of space to the small town streets of suburbia, the hunt comes home. Now the universe's most lethal hunters are stronger, smarter, and deadlier than ever, having genetically upgraded themselves with DNA from other species. When a young boy accidentally triggers their return to Earth, only a ragtag crew of ex-soldiers and a disgruntled science teacher can prevent the end of the human race.
Oh,
Pretty cool description, you know?
Sure. Sounds very okay. So they had the jungle, and then they went to the concrete jungle. Now we have the suburban jungle.
Yeah. So this one sounds like it'll have a lot of locales, which is kind of cool, rather than relegate us to one place like each of the previous movies kind of seemed to do. You know, but I love how they have a cast picture very similar to the cast picture we showed earlier. They're kind of showing everyone together and kind of having fun. We'll run down a little bit of the cast real quick. They got Boyd Holbrook, right? He's playing Quinn McKenna and is kind of the lead person there. But he played Pierce. It's probably his biggest role. Pierce was the bad guy in the movie Logan.
Okay,
you remember that?
Yeah.
He had the robot arm and stuff.
Yeah.
So he was pretty cool in that. So this will be very different, though. He's the lead. He's kind of the good guy. It's got Sterling K. Brown. Like I said, he plays Traeger. He was on Supernatural, Brooklyn Nine-Nine, and probably most notably known as being Najobu. That was Killmonger's dad in Black Panther.
Okay.
So only a bit part in that, but still very influential. So they've got Olivia Munn playing Casey Brackett. She, of course, was Psylocke in the X-Men Apocalypse. They got Thomas Jane playing Baxley, a veteran soldier. And, of course, Thomas Jane, known very well from being the kind of original Punisher.
Sure.
And Yvonne Strahovski, who plays Emily. And she was on both Dexter and The Handmaid's Tale. Do you remember she played Hannah, that other killer that he met later, like towards the end of the show?
Oh, yeah.
The blonde.
Yeah.
She was smoking. So that's pretty cool. So it sounds like the original movie, they got a really killer cast, you know? And maybe the original movie didn't know all those guys were going to be so huge at the time. But these guys are still doing great stuff right now, and they all seem like they're right on the cusp of being super huge. I mean, maybe Thomas Jane is a little bit in the mid-ground of his career, but all these other ones seem like they're just kind of taking off. So it seems pretty cool.
Like you said, yeah, at least it's not like, some of the other films like Alien vs. Predator 2 that had like a bunch of nobodies in it. That definitely seems like they're trying to get this one at least a good cast, and then see if they can do some battle with the Predator.
Absolutely. Frederico, what's up, fella? And Bishop says Olivia Munn's in it. Good enough for me. I'm there.
Yeah, you guys let us know. Are you planning to go check this out? Is it going to be more of a rental? Like, are going to be first at the theaters? Are you excited?
Yeah, how excited are you guys for another round of the Predator? I mean, we talked to Party Man Will, and he's just like, bad Caesar. He has nothing to do with it. He doesn't want to get behind it at all. But he doesn't like remakes, reboots, and very seldom likes sequels. But I can say, if we look at just a few other slides here, I think there's a couple of cool things about this movie that looked interesting just to us from the trailer. We wanted to share with all of you guys.
Oh, yeah.
So there's been some improvements, like they said, on the character, right? So the Predator helmet here has a very obvious difference, like the kind of glowing eyes. It's a little sleeker in the front. So it's kind of updated, a little shinier than it used to be. This photo, I'm like, I like the old one better. What are your thoughts on that?
I do have to agree with you there. I mean, honestly, I think he looks scarier in 1987. Like him having like LED eyes or whatever, glowing eyes. It's like, I don't know, just that deep dark pit. Now we all know what the Predator looks like underneath the mask by now.
Yeah.
But like you said, when you went into that theater in 1987, there's no internet. There was no way you could look at. Maybe you saw it in a magazine or something, but you didn't know what this guy looked like under there. And I mean, that just kind of added. It's like a skull, or just the eyes are gone, But yeah, I don't know. I just don't think the little glowing eyes add anything.
Well, because of the fact that he was like invisible through most of the movie, you kind of had this Jaws effect where you didn't see Predator at all, and then when you did, he just had this really creepy mask. But it seems like a lot of the sequels, you saw him in the mask a lot now, and he'd be hanging out in the mask. So you still see a Predator mask like 90% of the movie. So the mask needs to look really cool and intimidating and scary. And this photo, I don't think really looks that cool. There is this photo, and this one looks a little better. So it looks like, okay, maybe the LEDs aren't on all the time, or maybe he was like targeting, and that's why his hand was up in the other photo. Like maybe he's targeting, and that's like some sort of sensor to help him target.
Gotcha.
Even still, now it means his eyes are flashing when he's trying to do shit. That seems like a dead giveaway. Like you're like, oh shit, he's gonna shoot now. Get down. His eyes are glowing. So maybe that'll play into the story. But I'm with you. I think the LED thing's a little silly, but it looks pretty cool here.
Sure. No, absolutely. I mean, obviously, what they've done with, technology and stuff like that. I think he's overall going to look cool, but it's just like, it's almost like he doesn't need like the extra accoutrements, It's like, just make him Predator.
Yeah. And I see Bishop is saying, well, he's kind of getting a tech upgrade, kind of like how we would. Eric G says he looks like the alien suit from Independence Day. Party man, I'm glad I represented you well over there. But as far as the tech upgrade goes, like, aren't they super advanced? Like, what are they upgrading?
Yeah. No,
I mean, aside from the sensor thing, but you'd think as hunters or predators, they'd know, don't put glowy shit in your fucking eyes. They're going to see you. But they're totally invisible most of the time. So maybe that's sort of where, who knows? It just seems like I'm with you. I don't like the glowy eyes. The rest of the look of it, the armor looking a little sleeker, a little shinier. Hey, it could just be a different clan that's kind of into that more. Who knows? But there's a big, maybe you should just leave well enough alone sort of thing.
That makes a good point, though. I mean, I see Eric and Jason H saying that maybe the actual eye thing is like an actual tech upgrade. Like
like if you put mud on you, they can see you, because that's what they should be doing, is seeing people in mud. So yeah, maybe some sort of night vision or something like that. But you'd think they'd have some way to conceal it. That just seems weird to have that obvious of kind of a weird giveaway for you. So we'll have to see what it is. Chris Hall says they're using Windows 12, baby. That's why they're glowing.
Upgrade.
All right, so that's the Predators, man, or the Predator. And we won't know what it's going to have on a Rotten Tomatoes score till really after the weekend. I think they do put up some preliminary stuff earlier than that from Critic Score. But really, until about Monday or Tuesday, you're not going to get a fairly accurate reading of what's up.
Sure.
But both of us tend to agree, don't go by Rotten Tomatoes. Follow your heart. If you watched the preview and you thought it looked good, feel free to give it a shot, give it a chance,
There you go, man. Yeah, definitely. Be your own critic.
Yeah, because I've been pleasantly surprised by movies that got terrible ratings, and I've hated movies that got good ratings. So
absolutely, man. All right, well, we've talked about the movies. Why don't we talk a little, and thank you guys for staying up later with us. We're in the after hours segment. We're going to rock and roll for a little bit longer.
Yeah.
But, man, we're going to talk about all the other media that Predator's been in that has really helped build his mythos or their mythos and just the whole story behind them.
No doubt, guys. We're starting off with Batman versus the Predator, dude. Now, this was the one that, to me, I was like, bro, that is crazy. When I first saw these comics, like, I had seen the film as a kid, only the first one. I think I didn't see the next one until, way later. I don't know what happened there, but I think I saw the original Predator when I was very young, which is probably not good. But, yeah, so this comic came out and was just sensational. Just super ton of fun, really cool, really showed off the sort of intelligence of the Predator, not living up to that title like they joke in this new trailer, that he's not as much a predator as he is a hunter. He's a thinker. He tries to trap you. He has skills. And that against Batman and his detective and his genius skills was just awesome.
I remember sitting in like an Eckerd's drugstore, and like, when they used to, when they actually existed, they had a comic book rack, and I remember getting, picking up this comic and reading the whole thing in the store and just being like, I need this, even though I'd already read it. It was just so awesome. And I had my mom buy it for me, and I was just so stoked because it was just such a cool concept to have a character from the movies. and then a DC character come together and battle it out.
Yeah.
Do you remember even one time there was like a fan-made film that kind of brought this?
Yes.
Batman Dead End is what it was called.
Yes.
It had aliens, the Joker, Predator. If you guys haven't seen it, definitely check it out after tonight's episode.
It's
really cool.
excellent, like fan-made film.
Oh yeah,
Very short too. It was only
yeah.
like 15 minutes or something.
But aside from Batman versus a Predator, also, I mean, Dark Horse Comics, man, they get like a big award for pretty much keeping Predator alive, man. Like, I mean, after that second movie, I know it wasn't really well received in the theaters and stuff like that, but man, they just kept it around, through their Dark Horse Comics Presents line, and then also pretty much being the first ones to ever venture into the Alien versus Predator territory.
Yeah, absolutely, man. You can see right there on some of the issue covers there that we chose, we wanted to represent how they did kind of bring that mythos together for the first time and show that it was not only was it something that conceptually made sense and would work for the two creatures to exist together, but was also something that fans wanted.
Oh, yeah.
So it's kind of real proof of concept, really proved that that people would put their money in a theater for that one.
Oh, you know it, dude. And it was like, it was cool because, I mean, while you had Predators and you had the aliens, you always had like the Space Marines that were like right in the middle of it.
Yes.
So it was like perfect that, you didn't have like an Arnold character, but you had these like Marines that were known for fighting the aliens. Now they had to deal with the Predators as well. And I mean,
Dutch? Oh, man.
Yeah. But they, I remember one of the ongoing storylines was a girl that had like, almost like telekinesis or she could read, and she was able to communicate with the Predator.
And the Predator was like, "You want some candy?"
But being that they couldn't speak English, I guess through their thinking, they could represent stuff, and that's how she kind of teamed up with them. It was a really cool storyline. And like I said, Dark Horse gets a lot of the credit for just pretty much keeping the Predator around,
Yeah, it sounds pretty bitchin', and I have to say, like, I'm missing out by being that guy who really only wanted to read superhero comics when I was a kid. So I may have dabbled with the Batman versus Predator, but I'd have been hard pressed to pick up something just about Predator. But this may be something I'm going to have to go back and revisit, and I think all you guys should too.
Oh yeah, so I mean that's pretty much in the comic realm.
Yeah.
But man, Predator's been all over the place.
Yeah, but I'm sorry, man. Real quick, like, if you want to get a Batman versus Predator or a Dark Horse comic, man, go out there and check out Big Dog Comics and Thunderdome Gaming on the corner of US 1 and Midway Road up there in Fort Pierce. I know he has these. I have seen them there. I've looked through them there. So get up there. Tell him the Power Hour Love sent you guys. Free plug for Cab Joel.
Oh, you know it, man. We got to spread the love for Joel.
Okay, but anyways, like you were saying, there are tons of other media where the Predator was represented. So let's check out a bit more of it, huh?
Oh, yeah.
All right, Wildlands, bruh. I put this out there. I'm so glad Bishop was hanging out earlier. I hope he's still out there. Brian E., I hope you're still out there. Justin K., Party Man Will. You guys know what I'm talking about. So we got the Wildlands game. We're trying to link it up so we could play live on Twitch sometime for all you guys. But, dude, Wildlands has a free DLC called The Jungle Moved that you get when you buy the game that features the Predator. And you can see him here killing some local Bolivian soldiers down there. And it may not be Valverde, but it is Bolivia, and it looks just like it, man. It's super cool. I think we're going to have to get Senor Bull down to actually play some Wildlands and run through this Predator mission. I know that the four cats I just mentioned there, all of us took turns playing this, and it took a team of me, Bishop, Justin K., and Party Man Will, probably, an hour and a half to 2 hours to take down the Predator.
Wow.
Like, this is a vicious, awesome battle. So thank you guys for joining me on that. And we'll have to throw some clips up sometime of it, or like we said, actually live stream playing through this because it is very cool.
Well, that's cool, man. And I mean, aside from Wildlands, I mean, even that Mortal Kombat 10 game or Mortal Kombat X that came out, man, Predator was a downloadable character in there too, where he got to do some damage and fight aliens and Johnny Cage and all those other good guys. But man, we could even take a step way back. I mean, we're talking way back. I mean, probably the first, alien or game that the Predator showed up in would probably have to be Alien versus Predator in 1993 for the Jaguar, which was a great first-person shooter. But hey, let's be honest, who actually had a Jaguar? If you had one, throw it down in the comments and let us know.
I think our fans are more likely to own a Jaguar car than the original Jaguar.
But One that I do remember is definitely getting the Alien vs. Predator arcade game, which also did get ported over to Super Nintendo and Genesis, but definitely didn't look this badass. You actually played as a Predator, and it was like a beat 'em up, and you were like beating up aliens. So it was definitely in that like Final Fight Streets of Rage style. But yeah, this was really cool for a Predator game.
And I know they had a couple more after the 2000s, right? When Alien vs. Predator actually came out.
Oh, you know it, man. Yeah, I mean, I think Party Man Will had actually just mentioned there was Alien vs. Predator that came out in like 1999, and then like 2000 or 2001 there was a sequel. Okay. I know that's kind of sought after as being like one of the best like first person, Alien versus Predator. Because in those games you don't just you could play as the alien, you could play as the Predator, or you could play as the Space Marine. So you kind of chose which path you were going to take, each with their own, of course, abilities and speed and stuff like that. So yeah, those were awesome first person shooters.
Heck yeah, man. So lots of cool Alien versus Predator games out there we could check out. Didn't they have one in the arcade? I feel like they had one that you had a gun and you could shoot out of.
Oh, I'm sure there was like a rail shooter one. Like I know what you're talking about. Like that would it was more like the Revolution X and those, or just pretty much those rail gun games.
What were those arcade games where you'd sit in like a booth and it was like a car?
That's it. Yeah, the rail shooters. Yeah,
that was so cool.
They had like a Jurassic Park one. And all, there was all.
That's what they call those rail shooters.
Yeah, rail shooters. Man. Yeah, because you're not really controlling where you're going. You're kind of like playing a movie
like you're stuck on a rail. I got
Yeah, exactly. Now I do know there was a real time strategy Alien versus Predator game called Extinction.
Nice.
It came out in 2003, which of course was just for PC at the time.
Yeah.
But that actually got some good marks. And then on the PlayStation 2, there was Predator Concrete Jungle, which was a solo Predator game, not including any aliens, but you actually got to run around, like a city and do all kind of dastardly Predator things.
Was that also a PC game? Or?
I'm sure it probably went to the different consoles at the time, the Xbox and the PC as well. But I remember playing it on PS2. I wouldn't say it was the greatest game, but hey, it was like playing a Predator. So
yeah. I think something like this would really work well today. Would be a pretty bitchin' badass freaking gameplay mode. So I mean, I have to say, in the Wildlands game, their iteration of the Predator was so kick-ass, man, that he had his shoulder gun and it would target you and you'd see it for like half a second, and if it hits anywhere near you, like, you're dead, and then he would have those like things that roll across the ground and explode. So really great interpretation. He's hard as shit to kill. Justin K, I saw him post a few minutes ago that he's like, dude, die, respawn, die, respawn. That's pretty much it.
That's the Wildland?
And it's like cycles and cycles and cycles of trying to kill the Predator. Like you'll shoot at him and then he turns invisible, and then you got to shoot at him and then he turns invisible. So you got to do enough damage to kill him, but it takes like 15 minutes.
Gotcha. Yeah, Fred M, definitely, man. There was a ton of rail shooters back in the days. He's mentioning Terminator 2 Judgment Day, another classic. Like I said, I remember we talked about Revolution X. That was one of our video, name that game, ones. But hey,
if you want to talk about something that made a great movie, a great game, a great comic, it probably had Arnold in it.
You know it, man. But we're talking all about playing, and we can't end the show without talking about something really cool that I had from my childhood that I wanted to bring on here. We're talking about the classic Kenner Predator toys. Now, I know if Fred M's still in there, he's going to remember these guys, man. Go ahead. Yeah, go right ahead, man. Check them out. Now, these are cool because most of the time these came in a 2-pack, so you got an alien and a Predator. Yeah, so I mean
these are pretty cool, man. I'm wicked jealous of these.
I mean, look at that guy. I mean, he almost looks like the Super Predator. I mean, look at that big blade that he has over there.
Look at how long his jowl is.
And one was cracked, so he was like the veteran Predator. I remember. Oh, that was the other cool thing. These came with like little mini comic books.
Oh, nice.
Like they were only like maybe like 6 pages, but they kind of told a story about the characters that you got. Now, what's cool is I've long since lost his little mask, but I still have this guy. So you can actually pull the mask off.
Dude.
And then you got the little, you got the Predator.
That is cool. Dude, his color looks really like he's right from the movie, dude.
Yeah.
That's super dope.
I think this was really supposed to be like, the first Predator, like from the 87 movie, just in design and stuff like that. He just kind of looks like that. But man, they kind of went off the wall with it, and they started making all different kinds. But these initial ones were really cool.
Dude, Bishop down there, I got to give him a shout out because he's talking about in Archer, they make a lot of jokes whenever they're in the jungle. that Archer's always looking for Predator. And in one part, Lana tells him, like, he's invisible. What are you looking for? And he's like, he has a telltale shimmer, Lana.
Well, that's
so you got to look out for your telltale shimmer.
Well, that just goes to show you how much these guys, like, have worked their way into pop culture.
Absolutely.
Yeah, check this guy out some more, too. Man.
Okay, I want to check him against the thing I just saw with this guy, right? Because this is like a classic toy thing. Anyone who has action figures, dude, has anyone ever wondered why the right leg always goes up more than the left leg when they're sitting? Like, every single action figure I've ever owned does that. Try to make him sit.
Oh, sit?
Yeah. And watch see how his left leg is higher than his right leg?
Oh, yeah,
Or his right leg is higher than his left leg.
Yeah, that's
Why
true.
is that? That's so weird. If anyone knows, if you're a toy maker, hit me up. So I'm going to put my guy right here.
There you go. Oh, there you go. That's awesome. He's riding
the Spacey off into space there, man.
That's so cool. Well, just to mention, not that we have any here in the studio with us tonight, but, McFarlane made a line of Predator toys, which were awesome, obviously super detailed. And, of course, NECA, their stuff, all their horror movie toys are just so awesome. If you guys love Predator, if you want to have a Predator, it's an action figure, but it's practically like a little statue.
Yeah.
Definitely go check out the NECA line of Predator toys.
Yeah, they make fantastic, very realistic stuff. We have a video from a while back where we're talking about Friday the 13th, and Justin Jordan, I believe he actually brings a NECA figure with him, doesn't he?
Yeah, the Friday the 13th. It was
Jason,
the part 3 Jason.
Yeah, so if you want to get a little more detail into what they do, you can check out that video and just see, because he unboxes it live on the show. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, I know he's talked about doing that more often, so definitely pay attention over there at Underground Horror Radio as well and see what they're up to.
No doubt, guys. But I think that's going to wrap it up for tonight. We had a lot of fun. We want to thank everybody again for joining us. We want to thank everybody from the Space Coast Comic-Con for, just all their graciousness and taking the time to hang out with us. And, thank you guys so much for that. Thank you, everybody, for this awesome award. Thank you for watching the show and giving us something to believe in.
Oh, you know it, man. And, I got to tell you, El Bandito, I know you work so hard on the show. We both, put a lot of work into it and getting it out there and sharing with the Legion of Love. But, man, the video you put together at the beginning of the show was so awesome that I think we need to play it again for the outro. So definitely, you guys, stick around and watch this video. But we will be back next week, with another exciting episode of Power Hour. What do you think, man?
Oh, yeah, we're going to have an exciting episode of Power Hour, and we're going to play this video for you one last time, guys. Thank you. Have a great night. We'll catch you next week for some fun, awesome stuff.
Oh, yeah. Check this out. See you guys later. Yeah.
And now, the Spacey Award-winning podcast, Charboil and El Bandito's Power Hour of Love.
WWE Hall of Famer Hacksaw Jim Duggan, and I just want to give a shout out to the Power Hour of Love. Give me a hold, big guy. Ho!
The Power Hour of Love is Joel Wynkoop. Approved, baby! That's right, approved! Yeah! Woo! These guys are awesome. Good, cool guys. If they approach you, run like hell. No, stop and say, let's do something.
You're like little underdogs, and you came up, and you were like, wow! So that was awesome. You had great fans, and that showed right there,
Well, I am Byron from Phantasmagoria, and we are a Victorian horror troupe that has been touring now for 9 years.
And I'm here with the beautiful, awesome Athena Finger.
So flattering.
Author, comic book creator, and looks like movie director as well, Bob Dixon. How's it going?
I'm hanging out with Steve and Lauren out here.
This is Charboil from the Power Hour of Love, and I'm here with Jake Estrada, man.
Hanging out with Steph, the travel superhero.
Power Hour of Love, baby! Hey-ya! Wah!